All right, we got our finals matchup. It's Knicks, not Knicks, Pacers versus Thunder. So before I congratulate the Thunder, which congratulations to them, well-deserved series. They should have won this. I'm gonna start with the Knicks because two Pacers players ended up getting injured. It was Jarvis Walker and Aaron Nesmith. I'm gonna talk about that in a bit because I think that would just be a better gateway into Knicks and Pacers than the NBA Finals matchup. But yeah. I was gonna make a mock draft video last night, but I just simply didn't. That's on me. I think over by the time game one starts, I will have a mock draft video out, so stay tuned in for that. But first, let's talk about the Pacers. I don't really give a shit that the Pacers shot 51% from three, right? The issue with the Knicks this game was defense. There were too many defensive lapses. There was like six wide open layups for the Pacers that probably won them this game because the Knicks just didn't get back on defense. I mean, the Pacers had their own as well. But there was just so much fuck ups defensively. They were leaving a lot of people open in the corner and basically everywhere. They just did not have good defensive rotations enough, in my opinion, to win this game. At the end of the day, it simply came down to defense, honestly. And I don't know if it's just me or Brunson and Towns just don't have defensive chemistry. And I know they're not regarded as defensive players, right? They are offense first. I do think I would like to point out before people shit on Towns. Yes, he could have played better. I do think his injury was hampering him in terms of his mobility. I do think that offensively he could just be fine. I do wonder like he just had a hard time with movement because of his injury. So it's a gray area for me because yes, he did give up a lot of free easy layups that costed the Knicks this game, along with all the other defensive rotation fuck ups. But yeah, I mean Towns did his part offensively. He surprisingly missed some traditional free throws that he normally would have made, and he shot out four from three. So I mean, it is what it is. I will discuss Towns' future at the end of this Knicks part. OG, I think he played great defense. I think he played well. And same with Mikal. Uh, honestly, I think the Knicks team as a whole could have played better defensively, specifically Towns and Brunson. Not Brunson, but specifically Towns. Because there was just a lot of shit he was messing. Actually, I'll give him his props. He only had two stupid fouls, and that was at the end of the game when they were basically done. So at least he took Charles Barkley's advice to heart. um, Jalen was just Jalen. Pacers were just torturing them defensively all game. I had in my notes that if the Knicks were able to keep up, which they weren't able to for obvious reasons, not because they couldn't play it, because just fucking hell they were messing up their defensive rotations, and also they were fucking up on what do you call it? Just leaving people wide open and just giving up free layups on fast breaks because they just fucking sucked at it, right? There was one stat, right? They showed on the broadcast where the Pacers, I think, quadrupled or tripled the fast break points of the Knicks, which is ridiculous, and the Knicks had 40 and or something like that. And yeah, that was ridiculous. One of my notes, I thought this was gonna be like a 130 to 128 type of game early on because they were going back and forth. I mean, my God, this was one of the fastest games I've seen in recent memory. Each team was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and simply be honest, although I do have my concerns about this Pacers defense, they were the better team. They were the better team this series. They're the best team in the East. They deserve to be in the NBA Finals for a reason. I had them in seven because I did think the Knicks benefited from the Boston Celtics just playing like shit. Honestly, I do think Boston like I think if Boston had were able to make the adjustments they had to make, they probably could have won that. And then also Jason Tatum getting injured did not help them at all. But I do think New York would have won that series anyway. But man, this just has to feel like a wasted opportunity for the Knicks, right? And I think Towns taking plays off on defense because he's not the greatest player defensively. I mean, he could be a good defender, but he just doesn't play defense. He is an offensive focused player. and I don't know if the Knicks are going to trade him. Um, I don't know if they will. Maybe for some assets to go get Giannis or something. But if I'm Towns, I gotta be looking back at that film sick to my stomach. Honestly, yes, he played fine offensively. I think he did fine offensively despite the mystery for us. I think defensively he needs to get a lot better this offseason. Because if this Knicks team is going to become championship contenders, you can't have Brunson and Towns on the floor at the same time. It's just a matchup nightmare defensively, and you're going to get cooked every time. And then it turns into a track meet, which the Knicks usually do not win in this series because the Pacers are more adept at playing at that. So yeah, that's that about Towns. That's all I'm going to say about him. Robinson, he had a great first half. I mean, he had 5 offensive rebounds in this first quarter. He came out ready to play and then just disappeared in the second half. Also, this Knicks team was playing really fired up and really aggressive. I think in the first and second quarters, they were just dialed up. Right, they were locked in, ready to go. And then when the third quarter began, everything fell apart. So I get it's winning hard on the road, um, especially after the game one fuck up and game two not going their way. But man, the Knicks have to look at this as a wasted opportunity. They honestly do. Um, all right, I'm gonna go through these 4 players next. Hart, he brought good energy when they were down. He was always there because whenever you're down, Hart will always be there to provide good energy if he's starting off the bench. Obviously, his field goals didn't go his way, but I think he played just fine. DeLon Wright didn't make his shots. Even though if he did, even though he didn't make his shots, and even though the Knicks couldn't make threes for shit, they're still not winning this game. I just don't think they deserved it. Um, Landry Shamet. I mean, I'm excluding the 2 3 pointers they made at like the end of the game. I think because I think he made 2 at the end of the game. I may be counting that wrong, but he was just a non-factor. He made his shots, but like I don't think he like did anything really. If I want to be honest, there's nothing like really notable about his play. So Land, Landry, what about him? Did he like? Yeah, he made like 2 3. He made like 3 points. So he was like 1 for 4. So yeah, I mean 1 for 4. That is what it is. And Miles McBride wasn't really that great. Just honestly, pretty just average, honestly. But yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about the Pacers. I am gonna talk about the Neesmith and Walker injuries later and what I think that means. I don't know if we have any updates. Jarris Walker. I don't know if we have like any updates because I haven't checked Twitter. Ooh, who won? Ooh, Pascal. Ooh, Pascal won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm laughing at someone else, but Pascal won. Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm gonna get to Tyrese Halliburton in a second. He's getting up there in terms of superhuman computers in the NBA. I was just reacting to Twitter. My apologies, and I got carried away. But Jarris Walker, um, is there anything new on him? I don't think there is. So what is? So we're looking like it's an ankle injury. Okay, we're looking at ankle injury and then Aaron Neesmith. Well, is there any updates on him? Because I know they're gonna carry his injury more than Jarris. Not because Jarris doesn't injury doesn't matter. It does matter, but they just don't prioritize his wouldn't prioritize Walker's injury because he's not a big player in the Pacers rotation. Although he'd been giving them good minutes up to that point. Um, I know Aaron was dealing with an ankle injury, but I don't know. We don't have anything on that. But yeah, exclude. I'm just gonna go over them too real quick. Jarris Walker giving good minutes off the bench. That's all I'm gonna say. Neesmith, he played decently. I think he played fine. He just played as normal. Didn't really look like his ankles bothered him too much. And then obviously the cat drive happened, which by the way, Cat, if there's one good thing he's good at, is fucking murdering people. Oh my god. The amount of times he got right to the rim and was basically scaring the Pacers shitless. I mean, my god, they wanted to kill him. But since I think we have word that Pascal Siakam, I think is he Eastern Conference Finals MVP? Yep. All right, he is. Okay. I'm gonna start with him then. Yeah, Pascal played great in this series. This is one of the best series of his career. He showed up when it mattered. Right. I'm gonna pull up his game log real quick. 17, 39, 17, 30, 15, 31. I mean, yeah. I mean, clearly there's a reason why they won this series. They wouldn't win this series. Pacers wouldn't win this series without Pascal Siakam. Right? He's just way too important. He carried them to the game two win. Probably, I don't know if he carried them to the game four win. If I did he? No, because that was the Auburn game. But um, he held his end up on the trade on his trade from Toronto. Clearly, Pascal is a fine second star on a championship team, um, a normal championship team because the Thunder exist. But yeah, I think Pascal played great this series. Really, I honestly really not thinking about it. He played well the entire series. Really, it just came down to the fact when he got the ball versus when he didn't get the ball. Because honestly, if they got him the ball more, the Pacers, he could probably average 30 this entire series. I mean, he could have been that impactful. So yeah, I get why they gave him Eastern Conference Finals MVP because honestly, I don't know why the field goal disparity is the way it is. If he's gonna keep playing like this, Pacers have to keep getting him the ball. It's simple as that. Um, Next, I want to talk about Tyrese, probably I would have voted for Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but I kind of understand because Game 5 was a dud. But yeah, this kid is a superstar. There's no other way to say it. He's Reggie Miller's son. I mean, my God, Knicks fans are gonna have nightmares about him for the rest of their life. Yeah, Tyrese played great, especially in the fourth quarter with Obi Toppin. I'm gonna give Obi Toppin his flowers, even though he had a -6 on the plus minus. Ignore that. And I think he might be starting game one if Aaron Nesmith is out, and and he might be playing a lot. And I don't know who would be behind him. I know Benedict Mathurin would be fine. I mean, depends on what. I mean, Benedict Mathurin didn't play in this game. I mean, yeah, he. I mean, but they were already playing a four to begin with. I mean, it depends. But there might be a chance in this series where next series that we see Johnny Furphy. Excuse me. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or James Johnson, which 37 is he? James Johnson 37, right? 38. Excuse me, a 38-year-old dude like that playing NBA Finals minutes when he hasn't really played all year. That's actually wild. But anyway, get back to the point. Um, yeah, Tyrese Halliburton played outstanding this entire series. He is a superhuman computer. Obviously, Game 5 did not go right, but I think if he even if he makes the OKC series competitive, right, which I think OKC is going to win in 5 or 6, right, because I think that the Pacers defense is just not there. I just don't think. Um, if they want a chance, they're probably gonna have to full court press the Thunder and and just do their presence down, see what happens. But yeah, Halliburton's a stud. Halliburton's just a straight up stud, and we're gonna see how he goes in the finals. One thing I will criticize the Knicks for is not full court pressing the Pacers and getting them off rhythm. I will criticize them for that. Honestly, personally, if I have the other team full court pressing the shit out of me, I'm going to fucking full court press the hell out of them and just turn it into a non-rhythm game because because if they're not allowing you to get into your groove, which I think Jalen Brunson struggled with a lot in this series, because if he's not in his if you can get him out of his groove, the Knicks offense can fall apart pretty quickly, right? I don't know why Tom Thibodeau didn't press, honestly. I mean, I don't know if he was worried that Tyrese Halliburton would have figured out how to handle the press in the next game. I don't know, man. But, I mean, yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, he should have been the MVP of the series. I get Siakam should have had 30 every game, but Tyrese Halliburton runs this team, man. Without him, they probably go out round one, honestly. They probably go out round one against Milwaukee. Not because I don't think the rest of the team isn't good. I just think that Tyrese Halliburton is just way too vital to this machine to be able to get here in the first place. So, shout out to him. Miles Turner, he played pretty good. Yeah, Was he? Well, he had 5 fouls, so he was out at fourth quarter. I'm gonna talk about Thomas Bryant later. Aaron Nesmith also ended up having 5 fouls, but that didn't end up mattering. But Miles Turner, he played decent in his minutes. He obviously got into foul trouble because of Towns and shit ton of other things, and Thomas Bryant had to come into the game. And Pascal Siakam, we already talked about, and Nemhard. That's the next guy we got to talk about. First half to second half difference is just ridiculous. First half, I think he played fine defensively. He wasn't shooting the ball well at all. He just wasn't playing well offensively. And then he really turned it up in the second half, making big shots for them throughout the third and fourth quarter. I mean, he had 6 steals. I mean, he was putting pressure on this Knicks defense. They had fucking 17 turnovers, and a lot of them happened like before everything fell apart. But yeah, Nembhard, I think his defensive impact was really great in this series overall, and his defense in this game in particular should have probably gotten him MVP of his game. But it is what it is. If there was MVPs for each game, I mean, well, how would that work? Like, he make an MVP, NBA Finals MVP get overall. Like, that would be so weird. Ignore what I just did. All right. I'm gonna go through the two people that are not going to be talked about besides Jarvis Walker because he got injured, but he played fine. TJ McConnell played his TJ McConnell standard TJ McConnell minutes, and Benedict Mathurin wasn't able to get anything going and got taken out with 8 minutes of game time. So first, let's talk about Obi Toppin. He played his ass off in that fourth quarter with Hapburn. They were just fucking beating the shit out of the Knicks on alley oops. This is the Obi Toppin that the Pacers are going to need going into the OKC series if they want to if they want to have a chance of winning, because if Obi Toppin is struggling, right, and you have to go and Benedict Mathurin are not going to work, because if Jarris Walker and Aaron Nesmith are not going to be in game one, right, or this series, depending on how their injuries go, right, and Obi Toppin and Benedict Mathurin are struggling, right, you're going to James Johnson or Johnny Furphy. I don't know what Coach Carlisle's preferences. I would assume Furphy because of the defense. He's just better defensively at the stage of his career than Johnson is, which is no disrespect to Johnson. But Toppin is really gonna have to step it up in this next series if he is gonna have to start in game one. Yeah, if he has to start in game one or any other further games in the finals. So shout out to him. He played really well. I think his defense was great. Ignore the plus minus 6. His fourth quarter was amazing. He played really well. Shout out to him. Thomas Bryant. What a performance by him. He was everywhere, man. I mean, he finally lived up to the hype as NBA John prospect. No. I'm kidding about that about Thomas Bryant. But Thomas, is he? He's only 27. Damn, he's been only for a long time. But Thomas, phenomenal game. I mean, he went on a run at one point. I think it was in the third quarter where he like made 2 threes. I don't know if he made a third. He may have gone on a three-point run. But man, he was great. He was really great today. He was playing great defense. He was making his shots. He got to the foul line of it, and he just played his role super well. And I did not expect him to get big time minutes in this series. And the fact that he was getting big time minutes, in game 6, playing in the fourth quarter, that was really surprising. I don't. Before I go any further, I don't know. Tony Brown was injured in this game, so I'm not going to speak about him. He's been fine this series. I think he handled Robinson better than anybody else on the team. But Bradley being injured really opened up Brian. And if Bradley is able to come back, I don't know if he will be able to. I haven't kept up with their injuries. It's going to be interesting for Coach Carlisle to see who's the second big man he goes to, right? I think a lot, at the end of the day, it's going to depend on how much the Thunder play Hartenstein and play Jalen Williams. I think it's just going to depend on the matchup basis on who gets in and who's not. But I think both are viable big men in the NBA Finals at this stage. So that's them. Ben Shepherd, and this is the last player I got to go over before I go over to finals. Ben Shepherd, he played great. He played great defense. He did his usual Ben Shepherd stuff. Didn't get a field goal, but just Ben Shepherd stuff. And really, that's the same for TJ McConnell. So yeah, that's that. Now for Pacers and OKC, I talked about them that series being a 5-6, and it's nothing against the Pacers, right? They're a great team. There's a reason why they're here. They deserve to be out of the East. They're the best team, right? It simply comes down to the fact that in this series, right? I don't know how the Pacers are going to keep up with OKC's defense. Now, Pacers versus OKC. How is that matchup? I want to ask. Okay, we have this. All right, so Pacers have won 2 games. Actually, no. No, that was last season. They beat them too. Okay, so they were able to keep it close. All right, so Thunder beat them both times, right? Now, obviously, the Pacers are a much better team than they were in the early regular season, right? But I think, given their issues defensively, because I mean they were giving up like multiple 130 bombs in this series. I think, if my memory serves correct. Yep, they gave up like 2. Yeah, they gave. I mean they gave up 120. So they gave up what? They gave up 135, 109, 100. I mean, yeah, they played better defense, but like I just don't know how well the Pacers defense is going to be, right? And obviously they're probably going to pack the paint. I feel like they're definitely going to force Thunder players like Isaiah Joe and fuck Cambridge Williams, and there's probably another guy I'm forgetting, but force those guys to make their shots when they're on the court. I think this series is just gonna that series is gonna come down to 2 things. Can the Pacers handle the OKC's defensive pressure? Because it's going to be a complete 180 of what they saw the Knicks, right? Complete different teams, right? Knicks are really all offense because of Towns and Brunson, and the Thunder, they got Shea, MVP and Shea, and they got one of the greatest defense of all time. Probably the greatest defense we'll ever see, what we've seen in modern times. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I don't expect them to handle it well, but we'll see. Um, and yeah, we're gonna see how game 1 goes on Thursday. I hope that ends up being a great series, but my intuition is saying this is gonna be a quick 5 to 6 game series. 6 games isn't quick. It's just the fact that with games that are like it'll feel quick because it feels like the Pacers will probably have no chance, and that's just no disrespect to them. I just think it just comes down to the fact that with this series, the Pacers are just by far the inferior team, and it just simply comes down to that. Also, because they had to take the Knicks to 6, I wonder how beat up they'll be because they already got 2 guys out. Walker, who's played some good minutes, and Neesmith, and we're gonna see how. And Bradley's also out as well, so we'll see how this series goes. Going for OKC versus Pacers. And before I end this video, I've been going on for like 23 minutes. Jesus. Before I just upload this video, right? What did I? Oh yeah, I know what I'm gonna say. I think one takeaway we can take away from these playoffs is that the Pacers, not the Pacers. I think taking this one takeaway I've taken away from these playoffs is that you need the best 1 through 15 in the NBA. This postseason, especially, has been one of those postseasons where you have to be ready from 1 through 15 because, like, you cannot have James Johnson as your 15th guy. And I'm not disrespecting James Johnson; he would whip my ass in a heartbeat. But he is not on the same level like he was in his prime, right? Sometimes in series like these, you're going to have to go to your 15th guy, right? And unless you're the Denver Nuggets and you have infinite stamina, right? If you don't have the 15-man personnel sustainable to go on a deep run, you're fucked. And I don't think the Knicks. The Nuggets had like 8 to 9, but like they were running like 7 majority of nights. But yeah, man, you got to be ready for 1 through 15. You can't be having and can't be running like at max 10. You're probably gonna have to go like 12 or 13 or hell even 14 in some circumstances. So yeah, that's my one takeaway from this postseason. But yeah, I'll see you guys whenever the mock draft comes out. So see ya.